Hey guys, it's Michael. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to a new video. And in today's video, we're going to learn 5 ways to set up top and back-off sets. So stay tuned. We start after the intro. Some advertisement at the beginning of the video. If you are struggling with progress, if you are struggling with small pains and naggles and you don't seem to come closer to your goals, we can definitely help you with our online coaching service. The only thing you need to do is schedule your free consulting call now, and then we just get into a discussion. I will just explain you a bit how our coaching works. We will talk about your difficulties, the problem that you're facing, talking about possible solutions, and see if our coaching service is what you need to finally progress. So you have nothing to lose, just takes 15 minutes. So definitely make sure to get your call now. So to start the video, we're just going quickly through what is a top set and what is a back-off set. The top set is just a set that should introduce the lifter to a high intensity. Rather, it is a high objective load or a high relative intensity. And the back-offs compared to the top set are reduced in that load or in that intensity. And that's about it. And today we're going to learn 5 ways on how we can structure a top and back-off set system. Case number 1, and that is adding some volume. And how we can add some quality volume with a top and back-off set is working with a load drop from the top set. One example, let me do a different color, would be that we start with a top set, which is 1 times 5 times 100 kg dip. And after the top set, we drop by 10% for our back off, just to work with more quality in the back offs to be able to get more sets in. Let's say this is super draining. It's super exhausting. There's no chance that we can do that for another 3 sets. But we can definitely get another 3 sets in if we just drop the load a bit for the back-off sets. So then we have like 3 times 5 times 90 kg dips for the back-offs, or even 4 sets. And you can also drop the load towards the end again. So adding volume, we just take a top set, which is pretty intense for a certain load, and then you drop the volume, not the volume, you drop the load for the back-off sets to just add more volume. Case number 2. 2 is auto regulation. That means we are using our top set to find out what our performance is on that day, and based on that performance, we're adjusting the back-offs. This system is super valuable for people that are maybe shift workers, that have a very inconsistent lifestyle, and so their performance throughout the week differs and is not always predictable. So what you're going to do here is you are setting up a top set. Let's say it's 1 times 3 times 100 kg, and you program that in a way that this is something that even on a bad day you can manage. So it should be something around an RPE 5 to 7 max, because we want it to be manageable even on a bad day. Then what you're going to do is you rate the RPE, and based on the RPE and what you did here, you're gonna calculate your E1 or amp from that day. We have a calculator on our website that you can use from that, and then you can program your back-offs in a way that, let's stick to that 3 times 5 system. 3 times 5 times 78% of that E1 or M, because from your experience that 78% is what you can perform pretty good with those 3 times 5, and that 78% E1 or M is then true for each individual day. So if you have a very good day and you did that 1 times 3 times 100 kg on an RPE 5, your 1 rep max on that day will be much higher than if you had a bad day and you did that on an RPE 7, then this 78% will be a different value. And where you get those percentages from, you can also use RPE tables for that. You can find them online. So with that auto-regulation approach, the top set basically gives you your daily performance, and the back-off set, where the wheel work happens, is then adjusted towards your daily performance. So case number 3 is load management. And we are having basically a similar approach than we're having in that first case here, because load management is also about managing volumes. And if we are working very competition specific, we need to work pretty heavy. If we're working pretty heavy, we cannot work with a lot of sets because it's super fatiguing. We're increasing the risk of injury. We are increasing our total fatigue. That means we have less training over time because we need to deload earlier. So we can use top and back off schemes here to regulate that load. And we're combining that with an RPE system approach here. So let's say we have a top set, very competition specific. We want to have a double at an RPE of 7. Now, if we want to get 5 sets of 2, super draining, probably not the best thing to do if you're not like 3 to 4 weeks out of competition. You're just using the back offs to work with more volume, but still specific, so you can manage that load. So we can maybe just go with a 3x4 here, also on an RPE 7. So by combining top and back off set with that RPE approach here, we can really make sure that we can manage the loads and manage our fatigue by working still competition specific in both of these sets, but we're regulating the load with the RPEs and we're limiting the super heavy work to just 1 set. And that is how you can manage your load with top and back off systems. Now, case 4 is mental challenges. And if you think about an exercise like a deadlift or squat, where a very heavy set with heavy loads, something like a double at 7, or let it be even at 9 or 8. So freaking heavy, close to your max, a double can be very intimidating. And when we're working with a top and back off approach, we just have to deal with that for 1 set. So there is 1 heavy set which we just mentally need to be aware of, which we mentally need to overcome our fear, build up the confidence, because we know after that top set here, the load is reduced, it's getting lighter, which is just for most of the lifters easier to deal with, and it just, you know, motivates you, it just makes it better to deal with also the stress within the workout, the mental stress. So to really deal with mental challenges, a top and back off system approach is also super valuable, because you just have to deal with that 1 top set, and after the top set, loads are getting a bit less. By the way, for some lifters, that can also be the negative side of a top and back off system, because they think it's just the top set and afterwards super easy, I can be sloppy, I can skip some work. Then this does not work. So the back off sets are where the work is done. So you need to treat them seriously. So don't make this, you know, a negative effect. Use it as a positive thing to really embrace that top set, but still be focused for the back off. But it then helps you to really just deal with that. I hope that was not too confusing, but I think it's understandable. So, and for my hypertrophy training fellers, of course, we can also use the top and back off system, as I said in the beginning, with more relative intensities in higher ranges. So for hypertrophy, let's do that with case number 5, hypertrophy training. What I like to use also with a lot of my clients is that we go with a top set. So top set here is then example 1 times 10 RPE 9 to 10, so an all-in set. You can also go with RPE 7 to 8 or something more moderate if you're more in the beginning of the block, but something that has high relative intensity. And after that set, you just take exactly the same weight and you go with 2 or 3 more sets, 2 sets, and you don't give the reps, you just say 2 RPE 8. That would be a nice approach for hypertrophy training, to have one very, very intense top set and use that same load you use there and then go auto-regulative to a certain RPE in the Backoff sets. So that is 5 different ways how you can set those up. There are of course tons of more ways, also with that hypertrophy training system here, you can use tons of different ways structuring that, combining that with percentages, with load drops and all that stuff. So out of those 5 ways here, you can make a million more. But I think those 5 ways will definitely help you to get a bit more creative with your programming, giving you some impulses to just improve your ways of thinking strength programming, of thinking hypertrophy programming, and also to make your programs a bit more fun, because there's so much more out there than just straight sets. So definitely have fun trying it out. Don't be afraid to think out of the box and program a bit differently.